In Parashat Acharei Mot, Aaron HaKohen gets a mitzvah. That mitzvah is V'al yavo bechol et el hakodesh el mibet laparochet. He's commanded to go into Kodesh HaKodashim only one time a year, which is on Yom HaKippurim, the holiest day of the year. And that's after the preparations that the Mishnah in Masechet Yoma explains. Mafrishin Kohen Gadol, they would separate the Kohen Gadol, he would be secluded for 7 days before, focusing on Kedusha v'Tahara, learning all of the works and the jobs that he had to do in the Kodesh HaKodashim on Yom Kippur, the Ktoret, the different Shechita, Kabbalah, Avas, Hasmacha, all the different jobs that he had to do as a Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur. And Rashi explains, what's the reason for Aaron HaKohen only being allowed to go into the Kodesh HaKodashim one time a year? Rashi says the words, Lefi shegilui shchinati sham. Hashem says, the reason why Aaron HaKohen cannot go into Kodesh HaKodashim more than once is because my Shechina, my divine presence is there, and Yizaher shelo yargil lavo. He should be careful not to be used to going in there. And therefore, going in once a year is enough. And there's also a pirush on the Mishnah in Masechet Avot that says, this is the Lashon, Ki ikpid Hashem yitbarach shelo yir'eh hashar sheteh pe'amim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was very careful that the Kohen Gadol would not see the gates of the Kodesh HaKodashim more than one time. He shouldn't see it 2 times, only to see it once. Why? He's going to compare the gates and the doors and the walls of the Kodesh HaKodashim to his own walls and to his own house. And the walls of the Bet HaMikdash of the Kodesh HaKodashim, he's going to compare it to his own walls. And if you think about it, like Ad Kedei Kach, to that extent where Chas v'Shalom, if the Aaron HaKohen went into the Kodesh HaKodashim 2 times, he would view the Kodesh HaKodashim in such a degrading matter. He would look at the Kodesh HaKodashim the same way he would look at his house. And that's what Chaim Shmulevitz says in Sichot Musar. He says, from here we see how careful one has to be when it comes to Koach HaHeragel. Koach HaHeragel means to Chas v'Shalom not do a mitzvah out of habit, out of routine. Meaning to say is that if a person does a mitzvah one time, he's super careful with that mitzvah. He focuses on that mitzvah. He prepares for that mitzvah. He has a cheshek for that mitzvah. He has a connection to that mitzvah. He's a little nervous before that mitzvah in a good way. And chas v'shalom, if you does that mitzvah too often, kivyachol, meaning if he does that, if he engages that mitzvah too many times, he would sort of lose the focus, lose the kedusha of that mitzvah, and chas v'shalom would be mezalzel. He would chas v'shalom end up being degrading the mitzvah. And that's a big yesod that the Torah is teaching us. The reason why Aaron HaKohen can only go into Kodesh HaKodashim 1 time is because if he went in 2 times, he would chas v'shalom view the Kodesh HaKodashim in a lower way, not only in a lower manner, in a degrading way. He would compare it to his own house, which is something that when we're simple people, regular people, and we're not going into Kodesh HaKodashim, and we're not going into the holiest of holiest on Yom HaKippurim. But what we are doing is we have mitzvot, we have Shabbat, we have Kashrut, we have Torah, we have Tefillin, we have Tzitzit, we have many different mitzvot that we do. And Chachamim are telling us that if we are not careful to focus on the mitzvah, and if we're not careful to really look at what we're doing and think about what we're doing, we can chas v'shalom be mezalzel in the mitzvah that we're doing. That's what the Torah is saying. V'al yavo b'cholet, meaning be careful when doing any sort of mitzvah, not to do it out of routine, not to do it out of habit, because you'll end up being mezalzel in the mitzvah. And that's something practical that we can all take into our own lives. For sure, serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not an easy thing. And, getting up every single day and going to that minyan and going to that shiur and keeping up with those quotas and keeping up with that chavuta and whatever it is and all the different challenges a person faces every single day. It's not an easy thing. But the yesod is to try to focus on the mitzvah and connect to the mitzvah and motivate ourselves by thinking about what we're doing, thinking about what we're about, thinking about what our focus is, what our goal is. And the more we do that, the more we'll have hana'ah in the mitzvah, the more we'll want to do it again, and the more sipuk and satisfaction we'll have after the fact, And chas v'shalom, we wouldn't be nichshal in being mezalzel in the mitzvot because of serving Hashem, chas v'shalom, out of routine. So Hashem should help us to serve Him out of havana, out of mitikut, out of simcha, and B'ezrat Hashem nizkeh legeula shlema. Shabbat Shalom.